Welcome everybody. Here in lesson 5.5, what we're going to do is we're going to use base 10 blocks to model division of a decimal by a decimal. Up to this point we've taken a decimal and we've divided it by a whole number, but this lesson we're going to take a decimal and we're going to divide it by a decimal. Let me show you an example here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the decimal 1 and 2/10 and I'm going to divide that 1 and 2/10 into groups of 3/10. And our quotient here is going to be how many groups of 3/10 we can make out of the 1 and 2/10. Let's take a look at our base 10 blocks. Now what you can see here with my base 10 blocks, what I have modeled is the 1 and 2/10. Here in this first group I have one whole box filled in, which represents that one whole, and I have in the second one here I have 2/10 filled in. Alright, so that's representing the dividend here. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this divisor here and we're going to see how many groups of 3/10 are in this 1 and 2/10. So what I do is I'm going to take my red marker, my red pen, and I'm going to mark off one group of 3/10 because this is what I need to do. I need to figure out how many groups of 3/10 that we have here. So that's one group of 3/10. Right here I'm going to box out another 3/10. Alright, so this is my first group and now I have two groups of 3/10. I'm going to box off my third group of 3/10, and then what I have right here is I have 1, 2, 3/10. I'll box that off. Okay, and what I have here now is I have four groups of 3/10. Therefore, in this 1 and 2/10, I have four groups of this 3/10. Therefore, 1 and 2/10 divided by 3/10 actually equals 4. That would be the quotient. Let's take this next example. We have 2 and 4/10 divided by 6/10. So what we're going to do with our base 10 blocks here is we're going to represent our dividend, which is 2 and 4/10. Okay, so what you could see here is I have two whole boxes filled in to represent our two wholes, and I have 4/10 of the third box filled in. So therefore, I have the dividend represented with the base 10 blocks, so I have 2 and 4/10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how many groups of 6/10 I could make from this 2 and 4/10. And however many groups of 6/10 I could make from the 2 and 4/10, that would be my answer. So I first box out my first group of 6/10. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I box that out, so that's one group of 6/10. So I have my next group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would give me my second group of 6/10. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would give me my third group of 6/10, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would then give me my fourth group of 6/10. So therefore, within this 2 and 4/10, I have a total of four groups of the divisor. I have four groups of 6/10, therefore 2 and 4/10 divided by 6/10 would get me a quotient of 4. Now let's take a look at decimals that are going to be showing up to the hundredths place. For example, let's take a decimal of 1 and 75 hundredths now, divided by, let's say, 40 hundredths. So what we're going to do is we're going to represent with our base 10 blocks the dividend, 1 and 75 hundredths, and we're going to see how many groups of 40 hundredths there are in this 1 and 75 hundredths. So as you can see here, I've displayed 1 75 hundredths with my base 10 blocks, and I'm going to see how many groups of 40 hundredths I have. So I know that there are 10 hundredths in each one of these columns, so this is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40 hundredths right here. So I'm going to box that off. That is one group of 40 hundredths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another group of 40 hundredths because there's 10 hundredths in each one of those columns. So that's my second group. I have 10, 20, 30, 40 hundredths in these columns right here. So that's my third group. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 40 hundredths. So that's my fourth group. Excuse me, I'm going to restart that problem. I'm going to say 1 75 hundredths, not divided by 40 hundredths, but divided by 25 hundredths. This one will work out. This one makes more sense for us. So now here we have the 1 75 hundredths, and we are going to see how many groups of 25 hundredths are in the 1 75 hundredths. So I'm going to use my red marker to mark out my first group of 25 hundredths. I know there's 10 hundredths in each one of these columns, so that's 10, that's 20, plus the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And I'm going to mark out my first group. So here's my first group of 25 hundredths. I'm going to use a different color to mark out my second group of 25 hundredths, just so it's a little clearer. I know that this is going to be a group of 5 right here, and then I have my 10 and 20, so here is my second group of 25 hundredths. Once again, I'm going to use a different color to mark off my next group of 25 hundredths, which is going to be that. Okay, so as you can see here so far, I have, in different colors, I have my first group of 25 hundredths in red, my second groups of 25 hundredths marked off in blue, my third group of 25 hundredths marked off in green, and my fourth group of 25 hundredths marked off in purple. If I continue this, I have, that's 10, that's 20, that's 25. I have my fifth group of 25 hundredths. So you can see I completed the rest of the problem, and what I have here is I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups of 25 hundredths in my 1 75 hundredths. Therefore, my quotient is going to be 7. There's 7 groups of 25 hundredths in 1 75 hundredths. Okay, let's take a look at one last one here. We have 45 hundredths divided by 9 hundredths. So again, what we're going to do is what we did here is we represented 45 hundredths in the base 10 block. The dividend is going to be represented with the base 10 block. And what we're going to do is we're going to see how many groups of 9 hundredths we could get from this 45 hundredths here. And I'm going to use my pen here to mark off my first group of 9 hundredths. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hundredths right there that I'm going to mark off in red. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different color so I don't get confused, and I'm going to make another group of 9 hundredths, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here is my next group of 9 hundredths, and I'll continue this on. Okay, so what you could see as I did here is I made my groups of 9 hundredths from my 45 hundredths. I have one group here in red, my next group in green, my third group is in purple, my fourth group is in yellow, and my fifth group is in orange. Therefore, if I have 45 hundredths divided by 9 hundredths, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 5 groups of those 9 hundredths. Therefore, the quotient here, when I divide this decimal by this decimal, is 5 groups, 5 wholes.